Hi guys, my name is Pavan and welcome to my YouTube channel buildingyourdreams.com. So today we'll be discussing about the 11th chapter. So starting with our introduction, Japan and Brazil Through a Traveler's Eye is written by George Mikus. He studied law and received a doctorate at the Budapest University. This is a small introduction. Once again, Japan and Brazil Through a Traveler's Eyes Traveler's Eyes is written by George Mikus. He studied law and received his doctorate at Budapest University. This is going to be an introduction. So this is going to carry 1 marks followed by your answer. So there are two normally expected questions from this chapter. Just two normally expected questions. It's about George Mikus' view on how is bowing followed by the Japanese culture. So for this, the answer is going to be, or if they are going to ask you any questions related to bowing, you can also write this answer. Why? Because this answer has all the solutions comparing to the any questions related to the bowing. So starting with your introduction, you're supposed to write your introduction first. Then the author says that he discovered that Japanese have a complicated hierarchy in bowing that defined who bows to whom, how deeply, and for how long. So this is going to be a first important para, that is basically about the author says that he discovered that the Japanese have a complicated hierarchy in bowing that define who bows to whom and how deeply and how for how long. That means that he's just saying that the Japanese follow a basic hierarchy in bowing about who bows to whom and how deeply and for how long. He says that though it is complicated, the Japanese manage it without any difficulty. He says that there is no difficulty for him because he's able to manage it. The Japanese are able to manage it very easily. If two Japanese bow, neither is straightened up before the other stands erect in front of him, but manage it without any difficulty. So it's basically that if two Japanese is bowing each other, if for example two Japanese they are bowing each other, neither is to straighten up before the other stands erect. So one is should not straighten up until the other stands erect in front of him, but they manage it without any difficulty. Why? Because they are practicing it from their childhood. Even the smallest difference in rank, social position will be subtly reflected in that split two in the second one man's bow being shorter than others. Okay, so even the smallest difference, it can be in terms of rank, standing, age, social position, will be subtly reflected in that split second one man's bow being shorter than others. So the second one short, so it differs in terms of your rank, standing, age, social position will be subtly reflected in that second split, the second one's man's bow being a shorter than others. So it's basically that you have a very good rank or your age, social position, there will be a more amount of bowing in terms of reflected in the split on the second one's man's bow being shorter than others. Okay, next one. In the point number E, we can see that the basic rules to be followed in a family are: wife bows to her husband. So wife can, in a family rules which they follow in Japan, the wife bows to their husband, the child bows to the father. So child will bow to their father, and the younger brother bows to the elder brothers, and the sister bows to all the brothers of whatever age. So it's a simple complicated manner which they follow. It's basically that they're saying the basic rules to be followed in a family are: the wife will bow to their husband, the wife will bow to their husband, the child will bow to her to the father, and the younger brother bow to the elder brother. So the younger brother will bow to the elder brother, and the sister bows to all the brothers of whatever age, and the sister will bow to all the brothers of any whatever age, whether they are younger or elder. She's supposed to bow over there. He also talks about bowing girls who are employed to bow deeply and differentially to all, and this is their own duty. So he also says that, talks about the bowing girls. So actually, even in Japanese they recruit bowing girls. So these girls are supposed to bow, who are employed to bow deeply and differentially to all this in their own duty. They're supposed to bow based on the people who ever come over there. So next point, in the G, we can see that the author also remarks that babies too bowed when carried in little saddles on their mom's back, in their mother's back. So normally in the mother's back, what the author is just saying that in Japan, in their mother's back, the babies are to bowed when they are carried in little saddles. So mothers carry in mother's back when they are tying up with their saddles. The babies are also when the babies are tied back. So when the mother is also bowing, indirectly the child is also bowing. It's basically a small amount of training given to the children right from their childhood. Baby. So starting with next H point, the author also found a deer too that bowed to him deeply. This makes the author remark that bowing is genetic in Japan it also and is also infectious and imitative. So he says that this makes the author remarks that bowing is genetic in Japan. He's saying that bowing is very genetic in Japan and is also infectious and imitative, and it is also infectious and it is imitative. So here we could see that first we started with the introduction, then about how is George, a question about how is George Micker's view on bowing. So first we could see that there's a complicated hierarchy which is followed in bowing, and we can see in the second, in the B point, he says that complicated Japanese manage it without any difficulty, and the third point which you could see that if the two Japanese found each other, neither is supposed to straighten up before the other stands erect. So one is not supposed to stand erect until the other straighten up, but they manage it without any difficulty, even the smallest difference in rank. So even though there's difference in rank, standing, age, the bowing differs over there. And further the author is saying that the basic rules to be followed in a family are like wife bows to their husband and the child bows to their father, and younger brother bows to the elder brothers and sister bows to the other brothers of whatever age. And he also talks about the bowing girls are basically recruited. And the G point, we could see that the author also remarks that babies that too bowed when carried in little saddles on their mother's back. And H point, we could see that the author also found a deer too that bowed to him deeply. This makes the author remark that bowing is really genetic in Japan and also infectious and imitative. So he say that this is very infectious and imitative and imitative. Okay. Next question can be on traffic in Brazil or next question is going to be on the traffic in Brazil. And other type of question which you can expect is the drivers in Brazil are on lookout for pedestrians. So these are the other kind of question which you can expect. So there are normally two kinds of question. One is firstly on about bowing, and second question is about traffic on Brazil. Along with that, one more question, something pad question is the drivers in Brazil are on lookout for pedestrians. So now the answer which is going to be on the drivers in Brazil are on lookout for pedestrians. So starting with, the author says when people are walking, they walk at a very leisurely pace and that nobody hurries in Brazil. So he's saying that the author says that when people are walking, they walk at a very leisurely pace. So he says that when people are walking, they just walk in a very leisure pace and that nobody hurries in Brazil. So it's not like other countries, they does not hurries in Brazil very far. In fact, they seem that when they are walking, it does not really matter whether they reach their destination hour early, a day later, or not reach at all. So then they don't hurry. They don't hurry in Brazil. So it doesn't matter whether they reach their destination early, a day late, or not reach at all. There is always a chase between a car driver and the pedestrian who steps off the pavement. It's really interesting to know this. Actually, there is always a chase. So when a pedestrian is into the road, there is a chase between the car driver and the pedestrian. As soon as the driver notices a pedestrian step off the pavement, he has found his game. So as soon as a car driver sees a pedestrian on the road, there's a sudden amount of exaggerating where you can see that he was found his game. He sees his game to be started, and the pedestrian jumps, leap, and run for dear life. The pedestrian keeps on running. So there's a chase between the car driver to the pedestrian, where the pedestrian run. He basically jumps, leaps, and run for his dear life. Next one, in the F point, we can see that on the contrary, he seems to be quite enjoying himself playing this game. The driver and pedestrian, so it's like both are enjoying this game of running and chasing each other. The driver and pedestrian, the hunter and the prey, smile to each other in a friendly manner. The author says that he seems in the smile the characteristics of sportsmanship, implying I win today and you will win tomorrow. So it's basically a mutual amount of what we can say that a mockery or mutual amount of a game which they play that I win today and you will win tomorrow. So just reback of this question answers, we could see that the author says that when people, so we're discussing first about the drivers in Brazil are lookout for pedestrians. The author says that when people are walking, they walk at a very leisurely pace and that nobody hurries in Brazil. So you're saying nobody hurries in Brazil. And in second point, we could say that it doesn't matter whether they reach early, a day late, or not reach at all. And C point, we can see that there is always a chase between the car driver and the pedestrian. So both, it's like a fairy game which each one plays. So once the pedestrian is onto the road, the car driver keeps on chasing them, and the pedestrian jumps, leap, and runs for dear life. The pedestrian runs deep into for his dear life. And next one for the F point, on the contrary, he seems to be quite enjoying himself playing this game. At last, it's basically an enjoyment between both the driver and the pedestrians, as well as the driver and pedestrian, the hunter and prey, smile to each other in a friendly manner. See, they does not see that in a different way, but they enjoy it, both the side. The pedestrian also enjoyed, the car driver was also enjoying it. The author says that he seems in the smile that characteristics of sportsmanship. Okay, the author is basically saying that he sees the amount of sportsmanship in both the sides. He says that I win today and you will win tomorrow. And next one, traffic in Brazil or the growling traffic. So how is the author describing about the traffic in Brazil? He says that the drivers are good tempered. He says that the drivers are very good tempered and there is no anger, no hostility or mad hooting. So the author says that the drivers are good tempered and they does not feel angry or hostility or mad hooting. And then in the B point, we can see that the author is shocked into disbelief in witnessing a road rage accompanied by friendliness. So there is complete friendliness which we can find in the people over there. The author, and the C point, we can see that the author then goes on the describe the woes of crossing a road range of accompanied by friendliness. So it describes about how about the circumstance about crossing a road in Brazil. He says that in Avenida Presidente Vargas. So guys, just remember the names. These names are very important. Avenida Presidente Vargas. Avenida Presidente Vargas. They can even ask for 1 markers. Avenida. Avenida. Avenida Presidente Vargas is the worst place to cross the road. He says that it is a worst place of crossing the road. He terms crossing the road as a ritual there which could take minimum of many hours to be able to cross to the other side of the road. He says that it is basically a ritual which takes many hours of just crossing a road. He terms crossing the road as a ritual there which could take a minimum of many hours to be able to cross the road, cross to the other side of the road. And then you could also see that he also says that if anyone known is found on the other side of the road, when asked how he managed to get there, the answer would be that he was born on that side of the road. So that's basically a small amount of funny, interesting thing which you can find over there. It's like he also says that if anyone is found on the other side of the road, when asked how he managed to be there, how did he manage to be there, the answer would be that he was born on that side of the road. So, and that is the reason why he's there, and that is the reason why he's there. So it's quite a funny instance which the author has brought about watching out how Brazil is functioning over there in terms of the traffic. Thus, Brazil traffic beats the traffic of all other places. Thus, Brazil traffic beats the traffic of all other places. So, guys, that's all for today's video. So, in the last about traffic in Brazil, we could see that there is no anger or hostility or mad hooting between the drivers. The author is shocked into disbelief in witnessing a road rage accompanied by friendliness. There's complete friendliness in the road. The author says that then goes on to describe the woes of crossing the road. He says about different circumstances of crossing the road. He says about a place known as Avenida Presidente Vargas. He says that this is the worst place of crossing the road. He terms of crossing a road, it's a ritual. It's basically a ritual of crossing the road there, which could take a minimum of many hours to be able. So it takes once you be in that road, it takes for you many hours to just cross the road over there. And if anyone is found on the other side of the road, when one asked how did he manage to be there, the answer would be that he was born on that side of the road. That's why he's over there. This Brazil traffic beats the traffic of all other places. So guys, here we came to a conclusion of 2 types of question. And one part of question is about how is bowing. After introduction, how is bowing seen in Japan. And other pair of question which you could also see over here is that traffic in Brazil or growling traffic, and the drivers in Brazil are on lookout for pedestrians. So guys, so these are the normal two kinds of question which is basically asked for exam. So kindly do pause this video, please take down this video, please take down these notes, or try to understand my concept and write in your own words. So that's all for today's class. Hope you guys enjoyed in this video. Please have a constant revision. Just understand the story. Actually, English is a subject where you can write your own words if you understand the story. So if you just understand the story, just write in your own words. Thank you. Love you all so much. Wishing you the most and more day. So we'll see you. We'll see you in next video with further interesting topics. Thank you. Goodbye. And if you do like this video, please to share it, like it, and to subscribe to it. Thank you. Goodbye.